So, at the outset, I express my gratitude of every viewer of this presentation, which is entitled Rational Rasoushadhies. It's classified classical and contemporary concurrences. These words are a little bit different, and I request every one of you to kindly see what is the rational, what is classified, what is classical, and what is contemporary, and how we can say what is going on in the sense of the concurrences. Friends, here on the first slide, there are the two screenshots. One is showing that is from the nature, the pandemic future, and in this, the authors are just suggesting everyone that be ready for a longer period of COVID-19. They are also suggesting everyone that, of course, medicines are on trial, vaccine candidates are under very serious investigations, but what is the most important, what is the government of India has given the slogan that is Badal ke apna vyavhar, karo corona par var. Even in this nature review paper also, they are suggesting that you have to change your all behavior of the social meetings. You have to maintain the physical distance. You have to keep every time mask when you are open, avoid crowded places, wash your hands regularly, and try as much as you can to avoid any chance of the infection by this coronavirus. And the pandemic future is going to be 2021 or even more. The second one is about the editorial once again, but it is in the Lancet. And the editor is suggesting that the morbidity is not as per the age. Morbidity is just because even the young or the older or the older or the younger, it is not an issue now. After the 6 months, every age is being infected and getting death. So the point is here how your body is responding, and that is the viral load which is causing the mortality. So I suggest every viewer can kindly go through all this, and then we can make a point here. So when from Bhopal I got the invitation, the people say there, one person called me and say that we are organizing a seminar on the Rasoushadhies. Okay, then the title, okay, you can decide the title. Then all of a sudden, day before yesterday, when I saw the brochure 2 days back, I found that they are talking that application of Rasoushadhies in the COVID. However, they have suggested me to speak on the nanotechnology, but I was trying to speak something else. And with this, my presentation, I am trying to say to every viewer, listener who are listening this video, that there is something different which must be addressed when we talk about the Rasoushadhies. The first thing is that what we call Rasoushadhies. What are the Rasoushadhies? There are the many kinds of the ingredients used in the Ayurveda. Mostly they are the herbs. And we call all that Kastaushadhi, Vanaushadhi. Different parts of the plant, right from root to the flower bud, are used as per the requirement and as per the indication therapeutic utilization. So here is things that what is the Rasoushadhi? So people say if anything is with the mercurial ingredient, that is the Rasoushadhi. If anything is having some metallic bhasma, that is Rasoushadhi. Or any the mineralized, that is the Rasoushadhis. Or some poisonous plants, that is the Rasoushadhi, where the need of the Sodhan before using them into the human body, and the medicine consists poisons of the animal origin. So these things are making the Rasoushadhies, but I hope the Rasoushadhies are in need of some broader definition and some better definition. What we are having a public perception in our mind. Here is the why this was invented, or why Rasoushadhies was invented. And if you see this, I tried to answer it, and I found that need of a new effective medicines, need of a special sector of society, need of a medicine for acute and the chronic disorders. Yes, friends, need of a new effective medicines. See, the period of or origin of the Ayurveda, we all believe Brahma means the dawn of the civilization in this Indian subcontinent. We are knowing Ayurveda. It's a established fact. So after such a thousand of years, why this Rasoushadhies was developed and why they have been amalgamated into the main science of the Ayurveda. So there is a need of a effective medicine in comparison of all the medicines of the plant origin. Then the need of a special sector of the society. Of course, if you see from the 14th century, 12th, 13th century, or even up to the 15th, 16th century, there is a huge demand of the Rasoushadhies. And they all are Moti Bhasma, Swarna Bhasma, Rajat Bhasma, and the Hirak Bhasma, and many more. The high elite of that day society were using Rasoushadhi, it indicates, it seems. What was the purpose? The longevity and the something more. For the, even I can say that for the Bajikaran purpose, as per the norms of the society at those days. So the needs of a medicine for acute and chronic disorder also one of the cause there. Friends, here I wish to say, what is the nowadays? How nowadays new molecule or the new medicines are being invented? So there are the merely 5 steps. That is the discovery and the development of a medicine, then the preclinical research, then the clinical research, then the FDA approval as the screen is showing, and then the post-marketing surveillance. In India, we can say the CDSU or the sometimes now it is the Ministry of Ayush also. So these are the 5 steps for the development of the medicine. So just I am raising a question in mind of you all that whether we have utilized all these things, that all these basics, what are the now norms of the development of a medicine, when these medicines, Rasoushadhies, are developed at that time, try to get the answer of this. So it is the 500 years of the rigorous research before therapeutic applications, right from the period of Sendra Mangal and to the Prakash Sudhakar, or the 700 years of the experiential research at that time. Is it like that? Or the 1,000 years of the observational therapeutics, or the 1,500 years of the evidence-based medicines. So if you see this journey of the 2,000 years or the 1,500 years, and if you go to all the classics of the rasas, then certainly you will get it. If this is as good as the FDA announced the 5 steps of nowadays, or the CDSO guidelines, or anything else. Friends, here I invite your attention on this paper of the New England Journal of the Medicine published into the last week. They are making a messenger. They are on the basis of the mRNA, messenger RNA, mRNA. They are developing a vaccine for the COVID. So this kind of the specificity was there at that time when the 1,500 years of the evidence-based medicine. In the broader way, I can say yes. That is the time. If you see all that, there are different methodology. There are the different things what they did for a particular metal or the mineral, and different bhavana dravya for even the only one metal or the mineral. Then only you can see all these things are there in a very specific way as this messenger RNA for the particular and for the COVID vaccine. So why again I'm using this word classify classes? Because this is something which I'm thinking continuously since last 20 years. 20 years back, I joined Jamnagar, and there was a person, Professor M.U. Bahadur. who said after some interaction that all these things which are quoted here are not very much understandable to the common man who is studying all that. So the classified class means whatever has been written in the documents of the literature of the Rasad, or the document of the Rasad, that is not very much depictive in the nature, narrative in the nature. There are some quotes which I believe now that why the method of the 10 method of the Sodhan and the 15 methods of the Maran for a particular mineral, Makshi, Kabrak, or the Sword, Vajra, whatsoever. So all these things are there because they were knowing that this Sodhan method and this Maran method may treat that particular disease. But when they were depicting, when they were narrating all these things, they coded it in some language that is not understandable now. So this was the proven fact that they were knowing everything, but they kept everything in a secret way. They wrote everything in a secret way. And that's the reason why M.U. Bahadur sir said every time the Rasas is the Gopi Vidya, and for understanding it, there is a need of some more vision, power to understand the basics of this. And the paramount perfections were there when we keep things like this. And if you see the writings of the Rasat Samuchaya, the Anpan Bhed of the Rastarangadi, or even the Rasamritam, those who understand it, they have given some good points with the perfection. And the Rasas came into the picture in the public domain. But once again, I put here, there are some classified information in the literature of the Rasas. And that classified codes now should be decoded with the contemporary science. Further, if you see these things, then what had compelled Ayurvedists to accept it? And yes, because they have accepted after a rigorous research of the 700 years in the mainstream of the Ayurveda, then accepted it to the, all the therapeutic basis, and they developed it more. I mean, Vaidyas of those days. Then there was a reason that the wide therapeutic applicability is there. There was efficacy in acute and the chronic diseases. Then there is a smaller dose pattern. There is the better palatability and the graded potency parameters. My friends, learned colleagues, if you see all these things, they are having a very solid base on the virtue of this Rasoushadhies were part of the main Ayurveda treatment in due course of time of the invention and establishment. If you see all these things, then the therapeutic applicability, the acute and the chronic diseases, smaller dose pattern of 65, 30, even the Hartal Manasilam lesser than this, and generally 125 mg, 250 mg, better palatability, no bitter taste. And the graded potency parameter, when I say, that means the Kajali, Patali, Parpati, Kupi Pakwa, and going up to the Portali or the Dhruti Kalpana, like that. Different kinds of the things are there. So the graded potency parameters are available with the Rasoushadhies, and here is just a picture of my one presentation, which is making the people aware that why it is the safety and the efficacy of the Ayurveda is concerned. I mean, the Rasoushadhies are concerned. So finally, amalgamated in or with Ayurveda, the Rasoushadhies. It is the Chakradat, the book which has came with this, all these things. Then the 11th century, the Chakradat, 14th century, as I said, 16th century, 18th century, the Britishers, and the 20th century, that is the here, it is the, which is known for this. All adverse effects of the Rasoushadhies, when principal and very respected people having some appreciation from the Ministry of Ayush also, Dr. Mukesh Shukla was saying that when they were searching, when they are surveying the CTRI, there was not a single restored clinical trial with the Rasoushadhies. Yes, it is painful for everyone, for me specifically. But this is the fact, this is true, that no registration is there. Because the Rasoushadhies are making some otherwise impact in mind of the people. People are fearful about the safety and the efficacy, safety and the quality. Efficacy, everyone is thinking, saying that yes, efficacy is there, but the fear of the safety is checking everyone. What are the conflict there? Conflict is different way. Ayurveda versus Ayurveda. Yes, Northern India Ayurveda, Southern India Ayurveda. Ayurveda versus Rasa. Many Ayurvedic physicians say we will not use the Rasa Aushadhi. Then the Ayurveda versus the allopathy. So Ayurveda is allopathic people are saying it is the only empirical science, nothing is here. Then the Ayurveda is having own competition with the Ayurvedic system, homeopathy, Unani, and many more. Rasas versus Rasas. Yes, I can use the Maksik and the Abrak, Baotite, Chacopyrite, but I will not use the mercurial medicines. Then the with the allopathy, okay, your all kidney problem is due to the Rasausadhi. Then the core scientists who are not able to understand the complex city of the pharmaceutical processes of the rasas, they are also, oh no, why you are doing all these things? These are the useless, all the process, 7 times repetition and 21 time repetition of the bhavana or the shodhana or the nirva, like that, these all things. And if you see the rasas, the bureaucrats who are the policy makers and the taker admission, I mean, responsible for taking decisions, they are also having these kinds of the mindset. And if you see the regulators, so they are having a little bit confusion in their mind about why they are not permitting things in a regular way as they are doing for the herbal medicines. And of course, the elite society, which is really driven by the some publications which are periodically and something is not good there. So the conflicts are there. Here, see the every world is going on the pandemic, and one write-up is appearing in the editorial. The productivity in a pandemic. Madam is asking that main scientists were publishing more because female scientists are the busy in their home due to the pandemic. Okay, fine. These kinds of the conflicts are there with all. So that what is the composite complex there? The composite complex is that the West inferiority. They also tried Galen, Paracelsus. Everyone tried to make the Rasausadhis, but they failed. But the East developed this Sodhan, Jaran, Maran, Sanskar, and they did. The Indian inferiority also because when they are doing MCH and the DM or having the high scientific degrees, so what is this Ayurveda? I say it is the inferiority complex because they are not able to reveal what has been given in Ayurveda and particularly in the Rasas, and they are knowing that they are observing the efficacy, but they have some pharmacokinetics and the pharmacodynamics of their own molecules, but they are not ready to accept it. So I say in my words, it is their inferiority, and here is the some superiority also, different kind, vice versa, both way. Allopathy also inferiority, superiority. Ayurveda also superiority and inferiority. There are the different reasons for all these two things. And the Indian superiority is that, okay, my patients are getting right. There is no need of any kind of the research. But these things are there, uh, which should be addressed. There is the conciliation, compromises, and that is the reason for the defame of the Rasausadhi. And these are the what? Raw material authentic. Yes, there is a doubt. Pharmaceutical processing, everywhere is the shortcut. Marketing just to earn the money, applying anything of the which is maybe harmful to the human, but money should be there. The regulatory territory, as I said, they are not very much clear, and the safety and efficacy influences are in the market, and public is very much fearful about application of these resources to their own, and these are coming under these categories. If you see the regulatory reality are here in the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940, the Drug and Cosmetics Rule 1945, DMR, CPA, GMP guidelines, GMP for subsidies, essential drug list, everywhere it is. Everywhere there is the Rasoushadhies, but there are some clearance, there is some schedule E1 or the like all that, but clarity is lacking, and that lack of the clarity is harming the progress of the Rasoushadhies. And yesterday, just yesterday, Dr. Harshvardhan, because he is having two ministries, that is the science and technology as well as the health. So science and technology, CSIR, and health is the FSSI, and both are making some good collaboration MOU for the diet and the food and the nutrition. Of course, here it may be one part from Ayurveda also, the Ministry of Ayush. If these three triangles will work, the FSSI, Ayush, and the CSIR, then a good quality of the food and nutrition may be available to all over India with all those things. But we will be always latecomer when they will tried everything and not getting the results. They will come to the Ayurveda literature. So there are the assaults under the conspiracies which are going on still. And this is the letter of the 25th of April written by the government of India to the New York Times when he offended the statement of the Prime Minister, the promotion of the traditional medicine Ayurveda as immunity booster. So the abroad publications and the Indian publications are the propaganda by media and the propaganda by doctors. All these things are under the conspiracy to harm the Ayurveda and the Rasoushadhies. But we are taking it as a challenge, and I'm very much thankful to the Vaidya Rajesh Kotechaji, the Secretary Ministry of Ayush, who is not allowing all these things going on as usual in the earlier days. No, he checked it. He wrote to the editors. He notified to the PIB. These things are not factual, and it should be checked. It should be condemned. And in this way, he is taking care of all the things of the Ayurveda. And adjustments with the augmentations, everything is not bad every time. There are the good people also in the world. And I used here the same things, that is the abroad publications, Indian publications. Yes, see the publication from the Canada and the India, and the promotion by media also as per the government policy. They are doing it since 2014. And the good doctors are also coming to the Ayurveda, and they are doing everything for the same. And here, see the publication of that kind. Here also a work has been done in the Banaras University with the collaboration of the IIT BHU, effect of the Rasoushadhies on the Parkinson's disease, and that paper is in the line of review. This has been submitted to a good journal. My dear friends, here the contemporary concurrence is going on as per the Institute of Nanoscience and the Technology of the Department of Science, and all these new papers which are promoting Ayurvedic science also. I contacted them, and there is the use of the Rasoushadhies, and that is really they have did the wonders. And recently they published on the aspirin aspirin on the nanoparticle size. So collaboration of the Ayurvedic people, I mean the Rasashastri people specifically, with this contemporary science will help to decode the classified literature of the Rasas, as I believe. And if you see the contemporary challenges which we are having now, that is the metal complexes. The whole world is working on the metal complexes, and they are developing the antibiotics, anti-diabetic, and anti-inflammatory, as anti-cancer, and as antiviral. So as for the COVID, people are doing it. So the all functional system of the human body are meant of the metal and the minerals. And here is a chance. If you see this paper published in 2019, they are saying that the metal complexes are really very important for development of these kinds of drugs. And friends, can you believe that how our ancestors back 1,500 years, they have developed all these, the bhasmas, and approximately make the formulations too the Basant Kusmakar Ras or the Lakshmi Vilas Ras or the Ichha Bhedi Ras or the Visham Jorankus, whatsoever, many things, Yogendra Ras or the Jayamangal Ras, all those things are there. And they are having some different kinds of the therapeutic efficacy. How they did it, what were their parameters, whether they were following something strict scrutiny as it was the time of all that. Yes, they did. And after doing all that, they wrote it and they publicized it and they documented it in the same line at that time of the FD or that time of the CDSU back 1,000 years back, and they did it in their language, which is really classified language, and we are not able to decode all that. This is my summation. And here is something which is really making a serious thought to all us, that the particular mindset is involved in the India, which is not permitting the development of the Ayurveda and the general and the Rasashadhies specifically. The ignorance of the knowledge about these systems, even if they're having the arrogance that is, the allopathy is the best, or the some pressure of the lobbies of the different kinds, the recent controversy of the Coronil and the Covivax and the Favipiravir, all these are the examples of the lobbies. And if you see the public perception, that is really very important, and that is also not much favor for the Rasoushadhies. The public perception is very good nowadays for Ayurveda, and the whole thing, as Principal Dr. Shukla was asking, that it is 374% enhancement. But the government view for the Ayurveda and the Rasha Shastra, the Rasoushadhi, is something of the reluctance, but it is not true for everything. Here you can congratulate Government of India, the Ministry of Science Technology, Dr. Harshvardhan, who has launched the compendium on the COVID, which is really very much useful. So at one moment we are working like this, and in another hand we are suppressing our science, and we are not permitting to treatment by the Ayurvedist or anyone else. If you see here how we can progress, what are the progress probability here, then here are the three things on the screen that we have to do all these things. The medical professionals are seeking transparency in pharma regulations because they are writing, because in India we are getting very easy access to all kinds of the permission. And here is the academic research is necessary but not sufficient. It is the just yesterday published into the Hindu, and it is the Indian Express. And if you review all these things, a thought process is being developed, how we can progress, and that is the research. If we do the research in the line of the contemporary science, then only we can decode the classified coding of the Rasashadhi literature. So how to conquer, how we can win this adversity? We can win this adversity with our research works only. Once again, I repeat, the decodification of the classified literature of the Rasas with the help of the contemporary science. Here is the one paper. I'm thankful to the JIM editorial board, which are accepting the papers of the Rasashastra origin. And really, I'm very happy also to that I'm part of all these things as a reviewer of the paper. So if you see here the Mahalakshmi Vilas Ras, and then the traditional Vara put for the preparation, that all these are changes. On these lines of the changes are answering somehow different variations there into the Shodhan and the Marak. If we do such kind of the researches, we can conquer the adversity of the Rasoushadhies. And finally, this is the conclusion where I am I say you go through the screen, and if you go see the classified coding of the pharmaceutics of the Rasa in classical literature must be decoded in language of the contemporary science for its evidence-based therapeutic purposes with assurance of the quality and the safety of the Rasoushadhies. Yes, I have believed this, and we have to do in this way. And finally, really, I am very much thankful to the organizers, Professor Umesh Shukla and his team, which has provided me time. This is the blessings of the Raseshwar Mahadev. And finally, my friends, I invite your attention. This paper published yesterday And it is again into the science that the incubation period of this coronavirus is varying, and it is not only 7 days, on which basis I also got my tested of the corona positivity or the negativity on the basis of the 7 days. It varies from 7 to 76 days. Go through this, and then you will find the things how they are explaining. And this paper is from the Wuhan laboratory only, the Chinese. So I just recorded it again in my chamber because there was some technical problem going on with the organizers there. And see, the technology is very helpful, but at the moment when technology failed due to its own reason, not due to the fault of the human, no one can repair that. That happens today also, that there was a technological fault, and that caused some problems in the minds of the viewer. But I thought I should repeat it, for which I expended at least my 20 hours, precious 20 hours, I say, and to collect all these things and give these thoughts, what I am thinking, for consideration, for discussion among you people, and to come out with a policy how we can revive, survive, and glorify the Rasoushadhies in present day context. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.